Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day live stream. Today, we're going to be talking about getting feedback from readers, which is a crucial part of the Lean Publishing process if you're publishing your book in progress. But just to start with the normal housekeeping, these videos are all recorded and put for posterity on our YouTube channel at Leanpub on a playlist called the Lean Publishing Tip of the Day. You can also find an accompanying blog post on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. The blog posts are great if you don't like listening to me talk and would you instead actually rather read an article. The articles are also great because they have links to other helpful articles and things like that. So that's really good. If you go to our blog at leanpub.com/blog and you don't see the article, just click on the magnifying glass and search for the keywords and you'll find it there. And you'll also actually, once this video is kind of completed, you'll actually see this video link to at the top as well. If you're interested in learning more about lean publishing and self-publishing and book marketing and things like that, you can sign up for the Lean Publishing Daily newsletter. You can find a link or a button there at the top of each of these blog posts, and there's also a banner at the top of our homepage where you can sign up. What that does is it means you get these tips of the day in your email inbox every weekday, and you'll also get the benefit of getting great deals in every single one of these daily newsletters. There's discounts on ebooks and courses and things like that on Leanpub. And of course, if you want to discover new books and authors, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Leanpub. There's new release videos, there's book launch videos, course launch videos, podcast videos, lots of really great shorts that we've extracted and things like that. So there's lots of really great content there. If you'd like to see what other authors are doing to help promote their work, our YouTube channel is a great place to do that as well. So to the topic of the day, getting feedback from readers. For anyone familiar with Leanpub and the lean publishing process, which we talk about here on Peter talks about in the book Lean Publishing, which you can find on leanpub.com/lean. One of the crucial things about publishing your book in progress, so you say you publish your book for the first time after you've finished writing just one chapter, and then anyone who buys your book at that point gets all the updates for free. When you publish a new version of your book with a second chapter, then you might reach more new readers and more new readers and more new readers. But the idea is that instead of waiting until your book is complete and done, you publish it as you go, and that way you can gather feedback along the way. So what might happen, for example, is you might realize, I was planning chapter 3 to be about this topic, but everybody's asking me to write about this other topic, so I'm going to make that chapter 3. Or you might get people like finding typos and things like that, which is great. You might get the kind of feedback where people are like, actually, you should be writing a completely different book altogether. So then what you might do is sort of pause working on this book and start working on a different book. But in order to do that, of course, you need to be able to get feedback from people. And in order to do that, you're going to want to you're probably going to want to set up something like a system for managing feedback from readers. The number one old-fashioned way to get feedback from readers, as we say in this article, is to just share your email address with them or share an email address with them. Leanpub authors typically do this in a section at the beginning of their book that might be before the introduction and after the foreword or something like that, but called feedback, where they share an email address with readers. It's typically not their kind of personal email address. They might set up a specific email address for getting feedback from this book or from their books if they have more than one, if they've self-published more than one book. Typically, this is a really great way to get feedback from people. The email's great because it's got a subject line, and that subject line might be like, "Hi, I found a typo on page 5," or something like that. But yeah, email is a great way to do it. One thing that I've talked about in the past is that readers absolutely love it when they get to interact with authors. If they tell you that they found a typo on page 5 and you reply within a day or an hour saying not only, "Oh, thanks very much," but I've actually updated the book to correct the typo because it's so easy to do on Leanpub. I can do that right away, and then all my readers around the world get the benefit of your feedback. People love hearing that. People love helping you with problems that they find in your book. Like, say, for example, you said you've got a broken link or something like that, or you just made a mistake. They'll help you. In the past, it's funny with lean publishing. In the past, if you published a book with a mistake in it, which, by the way, we try not to do that. But in the past, if you published a book with a mistake in it, that was just kind of it. But that's not the case with Leanpub. Leanpub makes it really easy to update books. And the fact that you can kind of correct mistakes not only sort of means that, books are kind of just fundamentally improved, uh, but it also means that sort of readers can help make books better, which is one of the most exciting things about the lean publishing process if you get into it. Um, Another way to get feedback is through our um, contact email the authors feature on Leanpub. So basically, on the landing page for any book on Leanpub, there's going to be an email the authors button that people can use. Um, when they do this, they can by default they're not probably going to be sharing their email address with you, and crucially, they don't see your email address either. So this can be used as a kind of, I don't know, like kind of double blind or something like that, where basically people can contact you about something without giving up their contact details, and and they can do so without you having to give them your contact details. Typically, actually, people do, of course, share their email address when they're contacting the author like this. And if you reply, of course, then they will see your email address because they'll be getting an email from you. But you don't have to reply if you don't want to. And for people who are shy or just kind of protective of their identities, this can actually be a very important kind of safety mechanism to have. Of course. Yet another way to get contact is just to ask for feedback on social media. For a lot of Leanpub authors, that means LinkedIn. For a lot of other authors, that means X. For a lot of other authors, that means Mastodon. For many authors, that means Blue Sky. But one of the things is that every time you publish a new version of your book, it's an opportunity to kind of treat it like a mini book launch. But that also means asking for feedback. What do you think about my latest chapter? People love to give replies to things like that. They love it when you like it or repost or sort of thank them for the reply. All of these interactions are actually really important parts of building an audience online. So go out there on social media, ask for feedback when you publish a new chapter. Anybody who hasn't bought your book that might be the first time they've heard about it. So it might be chapter 10, but that's the point at which they discovered your book. That's the point at which they discovered your book. So share your email address. People will obviously probably use the contact the authors feature, which you can direct them towards, and ask for feedback on social media and elsewhere online. Okay. One last thing I would say about that is obviously there's the question of kind of safety online. If you give people an email address for your book, are you going to get bad actors contacting you? And the answer is sometimes. Sometimes you are. This is part of self-publishing and putting yourself out there, is exposing yourself to, bad people. As every famous person on on social media says, the mute button or the block button is your friend. I think William Shatner sort of says that 10 times a day. He's a very big presence on social media. So yeah, don't be afraid to sort of mark as spam. Don't be afraid if you get someone nasty kind of contacting you. But I would say that in my experience, this is actually very rare. Most people aren't going to bother to be bad actors most of the time. What's the point? What do they have to gain? It's like most of these kind of tools nowadays make it relatively easy to block people. So if that does unfortunately happen to you, don't take it personally, is my recommendation. Just, mute, block, spam, etc. That's the best way to deal with that kind of thing. So for anyone who jumped in late, today's Lean Publishing tip of the day was about how you can get feedback from your readers and why you should get feedback from your readers of your self-published book. You can find these videos on our YouTube channel at Leanpub, and you can find many more videos there as well. You can sign up on our homepage for the Lean Publishing Daily newsletter, which includes these tips of the day. And you can also find an accompanying blog post on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. If you don't see the article on the sort of main blog page, just click in the magnifying glass and search for the keywords, and then you'll find the articles with all the links and everything like that. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching this live stream today.